you've broken his law. Unless you know that, justification is not that sweet. You don't really grasp a hold of what justification really is.
That's right. And particularly, too, if you're still into the works or some type of a merit thing, I don't think it's as real, I guess, surreal to you or being real enough to you, just simply because those who are trapped in that situation are thinking, okay, well, yeah, God saved me, but now I got to continue. I got to please Him by doing this. I got to please Him by doing that. Now, I want to be clear when I say this. That doesn't mean that we just go and live, whatever way we want. Paul emphasized that in Romans chapter 6 when he says, those of us who died to sin, how can we live it any longer? Mm-hmm. But at the same time, we can't say, well, I need to do a set number of things in order to please God today.
Right. And, the thing about free grace is, and God's absolute sovereign free grace is just that. Christ did the work for us. But what happens is, like you were saying, when we receive Christ, when we receive that gift of righteousness, the Holy Spirit comes to live in us, and that's when sanctification begins. And that's when it flows out naturally. The change comes naturally. You just begin to change. It's not something you have to work. When I say work for it, we do have to work in conjunction. I mean, that's what Paul talks about in the epistles. But what I'm saying is, you are going to change. It will happen. He who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion.
Right.
So,
and in that same note, Philippians 2:12 and 13. Where Paul talks about it is God who works in you to will and to act according to His good pleasure.
Yeah, Steve, I think next week we need to. We were talking about earlier before we started the program. We were talking about doing a series on Calvinism, and both you and I being Calvinists, not a Calvinist, as in you and I are one Calvinist together. But
yeah, I think I know what you meant.
But because we are Calvinists, we need to. I think we need to start next week on our Calvinism series by just talking about the absolute sovereignty of God. How God is sovereign, because some of the things that we also hear today, and this is going off justification, but it's touching on something that we talked about earlier as far as doctrine goes, and not hearing much doctrine, in the church today, and I was going to play a clip by Furtick, but we don't have time to do that. Where God, God doesn't want us to suffer. That's what you hear. God doesn't want His children to suffer. He wants His children to prosper. Well, God also brings about calamity even in the lives of His children for our good, of course. But He is in control of all things, even calamity, even the bad things that happen. He's absolutely sovereign over every single solitary event that takes place in the universe. And I think we ought to start with that next week.
Yep, that sounds like a plan. And we'll just move and see where it goes from there. And we also want to invite anybody who's listening, if you have a question, please email us at longfortruth@gmail.com. And we don't mind you commenting on our Facebook page, but I certainly don't want to turn our Facebook page into a debate thread. So if you got any questions, email us or give us a drop on the blog or give us a line on the blog. Our blog is the same thing, longfortruth.blogspot.com. And even if you disagree with us, send us your questions and we'll try to answer them. And maybe if we get enough of them, we would do something on the air sometime.
Yeah, and please excuse us. Both Steve and I have very busy schedules. I'm working probably about anywhere from 12 to 14 hours a day, so it's very difficult for me to get to the Facebook page except early in the mornings. So if you do leave a comment on the Facebook page, or even you send us a line through our email, just be patient with us. We'll get back to you as soon as we can. But both of us have extremely busy schedules, and so we're not avoiding, and we're not trying to just ignore you at all. It's just the fact that it's difficult. I know it is difficult for me to get to the Facebook page or anything else except first thing in the morning. And so just be patient with us.
Yeah, my schedule continually shifts around. I may be going back to night soon. Just don't really know. But I also have preaching responsibilities and other church responsibilities as well. So if we don't get back to you the next day or the next few hours or whatever, again, like Danny said, be patient with us.
We'll get to you.
We will get to you. Yep.
All right. Well, listen, Steve, it was a great show and great talk on justification by faith. And I'm always encouraged to even talk about it because it is such a beautiful doctrine. It is so good to know that Christ's righteousness has been given to us not because of something that we've done, right, not because of anything we can do, but because of His absolute grace, His free grace that He gives every single one of His people.
Right, and that is not only the beauty of grace, it is the scandal of grace as well. You know, we get something that we don't deserve.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you for joining us, and hopefully next week you'll join us as we begin talking about the sovereignty of God, the absolute sovereignty of God, and it's particularly in suffering, because again, as we were talking about, a lot of people don't think that God's the one that is behind the suffering of His children, and the Bible makes it very clear that God is in control of all things. So it's going to be a fun, interesting next few weeks as we begin to discuss Calvinism, starting out with the sovereignty of God. Steve, thanks for Skyping in, and hopefully we'll be able to hear you clear, and I'll get ready to post this here in the next hour or so, and hopefully you'll come through nice and clear.
All right.
We'll see you next time.
All righty.
Bye-bye.